So I haven't done a rod upgrade in probably about 3 or 4 years, but I'm thinking about doing one after looking at some of the stuff that Tackle Warehouse has out there. The other day I got to looking at some of the rods just out of curiosity, and being a fickle fisherman like many of you guys, I'm sure, I got to thinking, what if I went ahead and just replaced all of my rods? So the company that I'm looking at is 13 Fishing. They have two lines of rods that I'm interested in. They have the Omen line, which is like $100 to $120 per rod, and then they have the Envy line, which is like $230 to like $250 a rod. Those are really nice rods, but the problem that I'm running into is that I've never actually handled these rods in person. So this is where you guys come in. Hopefully, some of you guys out there have handled these rods and can give me some feedback. I know that their crankbait rods, from some of the comments I've been reading, are fairly stiff. But if you guys can give me some constructive feedback before I actually pull the trigger on buying, I think I'm gonna buy 8 rods. That'd be great, because I haven't fully made up my mind if I'm gonna do it or not yet. I really love my Pal Endurance rods. I think it's time to try something new, maybe try something a little bit different. So let me know in the comment section. We'll go from there. I'm looking, like I said, 8 rods. I think I'm looking at 2 crankbait rods, a flipping stick, 3 casting rods, and 2 spinning rods. It'll be the exact same setup that I have right now. So hopefully, you guys have some good feedback for me on those rods. Based off of the description of the rods, they've got some pretty good stuff. The guide train seems to be really nice. It's like a 10+1, nice cork handles. I think the Omen is like a 30-ton, and I think the Envy is like a 40-ton graphite blank. Before we get into the question and answer part of this vlog, I wanted to just say thanks to Jacob for hooking me up with this Spro BBZ1 Rat 50. My goal is to find a bass that'll eat this thing, hopefully this summer. So thank you very much, Jacob. I really appreciate that. So I told you guys in the last question and answer segment that I did that I was going to try to do this about every month. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to choose randomly about 5 to 10 questions or so from the last month and answer them here on video. And I'm going to do this every month, just so you guys are aware. With something, he posed a question in vlog number 4, when do you throw what color frog? Like cloudy days, sunny days, etc. I try to choose darker frogs almost all the time because I feel like they get bit more often than the lighter ones. That's not to say that the lighter ones don't get bit, because they certainly do, and I certainly use them. But if I had the choice to have one frog for every situation, it would be a dark frog, because I feel like it gets bit all the time. I think a darker frog is more beneficial in all types of situations. First Class Fish Tanks posed a question in vlog number 4. He asked, in your opinion, what is the best bass fishing spot in NorCal? I'm from the Valley and I'm looking for new fishing areas. I would say that fishing at Lake Shasta is probably going to be your best chance for just catching fish on a normal day-to-day basis. You can go out there any day of the week and any time of the year and catch fish. The fish out there are prolific, so I think that going out there just to catch fish in general is going to be better than going anywhere else. Now, if you're going to go for a big bass, it can get a little bit tough out there, even though that there are some huge bass out at Shasta. I think doing some of the backwater fishing that I do, and I've gone back and forth with my buddy Chad, and he and I both agree that the bites are seldom when you go into these backwater places like ponds and sloughs and stuff like that. You don't get as many bites, but the bites are quality bites. Now when you go out to Shasta, you get a lot of bites, but the quality bites, there's not as many of them. The best fishing spot for me in Northern California, Lake Shasta. Cranking All Day asked in vlog number 4, what do you do with all the lures you don't use? Some of the ones that break or they don't really work anymore, I used to give them exclusively to my son. I would take the hooks off and then I would just give them to my son. He likes to play with them, especially when he was little. He likes them as rattles and stuff like that. But now as he's getting older, I just hand whatever ones that I don't use over to him. But I still keep many. I mean, as you can see behind me, all those boxes right there are just filled full of lures that, I mean, some I use, some I don't, but consequently, by having a channel that's dedicated to lure reviews, you're gonna run across junk lures, and so some of them are just in there. But I keep them, I try to keep as many of them as I can for comparative purposes. That way, if somebody asks me a question, hey, how does this or how does that compare versus, this or that I'm reviewing today, stupid fly, then I can give them a good comparison, because I mean, I've reviewed so many lures, sometimes you kind of just forget. This stupid fly, sometimes I forget how some of these lures behave in the water, because I use them once for the lure review and then that's it, because I thought that they were junk or I have something that works better. Jacob Berger asked in vlog number 4, does anyone know what he does for a living, because he looks like he's a copper in the military? Derek Edgar asked in lure review of the Molix S Popper, please do a review on the Mega Bass Pop Max. Now, the reason why I'm answering this question, it's not really a question, it's more of a statement. The reason why I'm putting this statement on this vlog right now is to explain something to you guys. Something about Mega Bass. Now, I get a lot of questions about why I don't do any reviews on Mega Bass stuff, and it's nothing against their stuff. I mean, Mega Bass makes some great equipment, but the reason why is their price point is marketed so high. I mean, they have it, I think their price point's anywhere between $21 to $26 per lure. And I set a limit for myself, and I've tried to adhere to that limit ever since I started this channel. I'm gonna try not to buy anything over $20. The reason why I do that is because there's so many lures on the market that I feel like I have to review, that buying a lure that costs $26, and I always buy 2, buying a lure that costs $26 and buying 2 of them, that ties up a lot of money in just 2 lures. And all of these lures are basically coming from me and from my own pocket. So to tie up $50 in 2 lures for a set of lure reviews that has to last me, you know, a month, 2 months, all the way throughout the year, it's just not, it doesn't make a whole lot of financial sense for me. Now, that's something that could happen in the future. I suppose if Mega Bass decided to send me some samples of their lures, I would certainly review them. But right now, it's really difficult to tie up so much money in just a lure review that for one bait that costs $26. It's really difficult. Zach Porter asked in Frogging 101, Fishing with Hollow Body Frogs from 2014, he asked, what tackle box are you using to store your frogs? Thanks. I'm actually using a couple different ones, but mainly I use the Flambeau boxes, the ones with the blue Z-rust. I'll go ahead and show you. I mainly use these Flambeau boxes with the blue. I mainly use these Flambeau boxes with the blue Z-rust dividers, just because when they sit inside these boxes, they actually help deter the rust, I guess, because of those little Z-rust dividers. And I've used these boxes for years. I've actually found that to be the truth, that I haven't had any rust issues as long as I've been using these boxes. So I use all of the ones that sit. These boxes are basically my storage boxes. If they're going to sit around for a while, then I use these boxes, because I have like 4 boxes of frogs. The way I have them divided though is that I have these 3 Z-rust boxes for the frogs that I review but I don't use a ton of, and then I use a Plano 3700 Pro Latch box for all of my Copper's Live Target box, or all of my Copper's Live Target frogs. But the only reason I have these in the Pro Latch box is because I like these latches better. In the new latching system on the Z-Rust boxes are garbage. They're molded on there and they break easy. They used to be a latch that was very similar to these black ones. And so I don't buy the Pro Latch ones anymore, just because that the boxes are kind of garbage now. But as far as the Pro Latch ones from Plano, I keep the Coppers ones in here because I'm always using this box. I typically pick up this box because you guys all know that I like Copper's Live Target. So I feel like the Z-Rust thing isn't an issue because of the fact that I'm always picking up this box and it's always being aired out. From vlog number 2, Ocean Doc 14 asked, great vids, thinking about a Coosa HD or a big rig, any thoughts? The Coosa was originally the boat that I wanted to buy before I bought the big rig. I was actually ready to go, lined out for a Coosa, the original Coosa, not the HD, but I was originally lined out to buy the Coosa, and the Jackson big rig just hit the market and I saw it and I knew I had to have it. I plan on buying the Coosa here pretty soon. I think the Coosa is a great boat. The things that I think that you need to know are, the Coosa is a lot more mobile. It's easier to paddle. If you don't have a trailer, it's not a big deal. You can still throw that boat on the top of a car, like on a kayak rack on the top of a car, or you can put it in the flatbed of a truck or something like that. The big rig presents some more issues as far as transportation and mobility in the water and stuff like that, but Stability from the big rig is like second to none. Maybe the Pro Angler 12 or 14 might do the stability a little bit better. The Kusa is a really, really good boat, and the paddleability, is that even a word? Paddleability of that boat is really, really good and you can use it in the river too, which is great. On my motorized fishing kayak Jackson Big Rig video from 2015, Jay Maddox asked, aren't there marine batteries out there that could last longer than 3 hours? That's discerning. I'd want one with a minimum of 6 hours of life. I don't know, just wondering. Yes, there are batteries out there that last a lot longer, and to be fair, the battery that I use for my trolling motor currently in my big rig does last longer than 3 hours. I'm talking about straight time. That battery will run 3 hours straight. Now, the battery will last all day for what I need to do. It'll run my depth finder, it'll run, putting from place to place all day long. But I'm talking 3 hours straight, one direction, back to another, 3 hours. That's a long time on a trolling motor. There are lithium batteries out there that will do it, but they're very, very expensive, and they're a lot lighter, but they're very, very expensive. There was a little bit of a cost to performance that I had to weigh. I had to settle on the deep cycle battery just for cost purposes. All right, guys, those are all the questions I'm going to answer in this vlog. But again, comment in the comment section of the videos if you guys want to have your questions answered on video. I like the format of doing this a lot better because I can go into a much more in-depth answer on video than I can just write it in the comment boxes down below of each video. So make sure you guys comment in the comments down below. As far as lure reviews coming up, these are all the frogs that I have left for my lure reviews for this summer. I have the Revolution Rat there, the Combat Frog, the Bullywah 2. I have the new Live Target Bluegills here, and then I have the Poppin' Frogs. My plan is to do the 2 Lunker Hunt reviews in the next week. After I do the Lunker Hunt reviews, I'll do these Revolution Rats and the Live Target Bluegills and the Bullywah. Hopefully, I'm shooting for about 2.5 weeks to get the rest of these hollow body frog reviews done, and then we'll move right back into the topwater hard baits that I was reviewing right before we went into the hollow body frogs. That's my plan, at least. That's really all I have for this vlog, you guys. I also wanted to say that if you guys happen to make a rod rack, because there was a couple of you guys that were talking about making the same rod rack that I made, send me a picture of the one that you made. That way I can feature it in a vlog. I'd really appreciate that, and I'd love to show it off. Make sure you guys hit that subscribe button if you're not already a subscriber to my channel. If you want to follow me on Instagram and or Facebook, I'll leave the links in the description. Hope you guys enjoyed the vlog, and I'll see you guys next time. Later.